Good evening, I'm Charlotte Rose and thank you for joining me this evening. Tonight I'm going to be making up a lovely £25 hand-tied bouquet in water. It is absolutely boiling here in the UK today. We are up to 40 degrees and I have to be totally honest, it's a bit tough. It's a bit tough. Bless my dogs, they're sort of huffing and puffing and panting, walking around the kitchen, and none of us really know what to do with ourselves, to be honest, and everything is struggling. When I went to the wholesalers this morning, I really did try and think about what I was buying, what was going to last. I only bought enough flowers to cover my orders. I really didn't want to have to buy anything surplus at all, to be honest. I've just got in and the flowers here, they're looking good, they're holding up okay, but that is literally because I bought the freshest of fresh straight off the Dutch lorry this morning, so we're okay, and fingers crossed overnight the temperature's going to drop, so when my customers come and collect these bouquets tomorrow, fingers crossed, it'll be much cooler for them and they can enjoy them hopefully for well over a week, if they're kept sensibly and in the cool. So yeah, just talking you through what I've got this evening. I've got the white oriental lily, I've got a Tuscan rose, which is a rather gorgeous sort of a strawberry swirl, strawberry raspberry ripple maybe, ice cream it sort of reminds me of. We've got some British grown larkspur. I'm actually using cut hydrangea foliage as my filler, which is rather beautiful, but you have to be a bit careful with that because the clue is in the name, hydrangea, so it does need water, and it doesn't do well if it's out of water and then not conditioned and put back into water. Now what I mean when I say not conditioned, I mean when we cut stems of flowers, it's a bit like when we cut ourselves. We immediately start to heal over, and so does that flower stem. So it's really important that when we get fresh flowers, whether that's from the supermarket or from your local florist, that you give them a good cut on the angle to increase the surface area for the flower to take up the water. As you can see, that gladioli there, that's cut on the angle, and yeah, it just sort of just gives your flowers the best start in life. All right. These gladioli, these are English grown. They're a lovely sort of a soft peachy salmony colour, very pretty. Now we always pinch the tops out of gladioli because that will encourage the flowers then to flower all the way up the stem. So I'm just going to do that now. I possibly should have done that before I started tying the bouquet, but there we go. Never mind. So yeah, so just take out the tops, and that just encourages then the flowers to open up all the way to the top of the stems. Right? So I'm just going to do this bouquet a bit front facing. So I think that I'm probably going to have, I'm going to stagger the gladioli, but going tall, slightly less tall, slightly less tall, slightly less tall. So sort of staircase them down. So here we go. But at the same time, I'm very conscious, I do talk a lot about each flower having its own stage, its own spot within the bouquet to bloom, to shine. Because at the end of the day, you're buying them. You know, what's the point of me putting lots of expensive blooms all tucked in and together and, you know, all out the way, where you want to sort of appreciate every single stem that's in there, that you've bought, really. So this bouquet is really taking a lovely, beautiful shape now. The larkspur, which is just scattered throughout, is actually giving the bouquet a really lovely profile, lovely depth to it. Right. So my stems are all clean of foliage underneath here. Never ever do I want to see, I never ever want to see any foliage below your tying point. And this is most important, especially this time of year with the heat, because of course all it does is it composts and it forms bacteria, and bacteria in the water then causes sludge and slime, and then of course your flowers aren't going to last as long. So it's just worth just taking those extra few minutes to remove any foliage from the bottom of the stems, and also it makes it a lot easier for you guys to hand tie. Alright, so I've just positioned the Kentia palm there as a sort of a backing. Alright, so you can see there's a lovely backing there. Alright, and I'm going to tie this bouquet off with a piece of raffia. Disorganised me, just need to go and grab a piece. Hang on a moment. There you go. Got a piece of raffia, and we're just going to tie that. Alright, as it'll go round once, round twice. Don't pull too tight. You sort of get a feel, if you keep doing these things, you get a feel for how tight, because obviously you don't want to like cut into the stems, but in the same way you don't want to be so loose that everything falls out. I always use natural raffia. I just think it looks, you know, it's very in vogue, it looks very eco, very natural, cottagey, gardeny, just beautiful really. Okay, so I'm just going to cut that off. Alright, this bouquet is going to be, it's going to be freestanding in water. So we make the aqua bomb at the bottom out of cellophane, so the flowers have always got water. Alright, and especially with our heat wave, I just wouldn't put any flowers out unless they were in water at the moment, to be honest. So what we do is we cut. Now I'm going to cut probably about this length here, because it's going to be placed into like a gift bag. So you don't want the stems to be taller than the gift bag, otherwise it can look a bit too top heavy. So we don't want that. Alright. So have a look at your, I suppose if you're doing a hand tied, have a look at your vase, have a look at the container that perhaps you want to put your, what we used to call an aqua pack, this water sort of bombed bouquet into. So when you cut your stems, they're at the right length for the container. Again, I'm going to cut all the stems at an angle, and I'm going to, basically because it's so hot, it's going to be minimal time that these flowers are going to be out of water for. Alright, they'll already start healing up, you see, and we don't want that. So there we go, this is the bouquet. I'm just going to go and grab some brown paper, that won't be a moment. Okay, I'm back, and I've got two sort of A2 size pieces of craft paper, which I literally fold one corner to one corner to make two triangles. Alright, that looks like that. Can you see? So it makes two triangles. And I do that with the other piece. One corner to one corner. So when that goes round, that triangle piece there is going to go over that top to fill that gap there. Right. I'm hoping you saw what I did there. So have a ruche about, have a jiggle, have a jiggle. Make sure that you're happy. You know, back in the day, when I first started floristry, so I'm just going to pick up a piece of raffia off the floor. You know, it was was all very much about the wrap, and there was lots of cellophane, there was lots of plastic ribbon, and to be honest, it's just not my bag anymore. We try and do our bit, don't we, for the environment as much as we can. And also fashion's changed. I think if I was to send a bouquet out that was just wrapped in an enormous amount of plastic with huge big poly ribbon swirls all over it, I don't think anyone would reorder, to be honest. So none of my bouquets are leaving this house like that. Let's be honest. Right, now the cellophane. She's got the cellophane. I got the cellophane. Right. We're organised when doing YouTube videos, really. I do apologise. I think creative people are a bit like that, really. I think we tend to be a bit all over the place. But you know what? Not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Right, now these stems already have dried. So I'm going to give them a tiny, tiny, tiny little trim, especially that hydrangea. That worries me, that foliage. It needs to be in water 110% of the time. Conscious of that. So cellophane, put your square out, put it on the diagonal, and you want to make an equal reservoir around the whole bouquet. So, yeah, so this is going to be equal amount of plastic distributed around the bottom there, and you want all sides of it to be tied in. You don't want any bits not tied in, if that makes sense. You don't want any holes in your cellophane at the top, because then that just is going to leave water to ooze out, and no one wants a soggy bottom, and we get soggy bottoms in floristry as much as we do bakery, in terms of overfilling, and then your container, which is normally made out of cardboard, becomes really soggy, and then you've got to start again with your water bomb, and also chuck out your you're standing up there really, so you can see. Let's put this a bit further up there we go, so you can see. Alright, it's all about to see me in there. So I need one of my lovely bags to stand it in, which I'm going to go and get. My sister Kim, who was also is a trained florist, she used to tell me, never waste a journey. I didn't really take that on board, did I? Back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. These are my sage green bags, which I think are rather lovely. Again, in vogue, they look very au naturel, don't they? Very trendy, very sort of that farrow and ball sort of hue, which is very in vogue at the moment. Let me just put this down here so you can see what I'm going to do. Right, I'm going to just pop the bouquet into the bag. Can I just show you? You just see, it's in the bag. Alright, it's in the bag. And now I'm just going to top the bouquet up with water. I'm actually going to make sure I put a flower food in my water as well. I think when people flower food first came out, people thought it was a bit gimmicky, but actually it's not. It stops the bacteria. Again, it's all about stopping that bacteria building up around your stems. I'm just topping up my watering can. But to be totally honest, anything at the moment that is going to help keep these flowers as fresh as possible, I'm all for. I can only do what I'm going to do, you know, what I can do in this heat. And that is, I've bought little, I've bought the right stuff, I've bought fresh. I conditioned it properly this morning. I got up early. I made sure that I stripped all the stems down, that they were all cut, that they were all put in flower food, that they were all, no cellophane was left on any of the blooms. Unfortunately, when you buy flowers from wholesale, they do wrap them all in cellophane still, which is, again, it's pretty sad, but I think things will change. So, you know, they're going to have to change. But I wanted to remove all that cellophane so I didn't create a sort of greenhouse effect around my flowers. I didn't want them to steam up or just swelt. But yeah, just sweat really, especially in this heat. So I'm just topping the water up now. I'm keeping an eye on the cellophane bomb at the bottom, and I want to fill it all the way up to the tying point because some of my stems are actually quite short. And I think as a rule of thumb, if you do fill it right the way to that tying point, then you're making sure that all your stems have the best chance of having a good drink. All right. So, all my bouquets, they will be. Hello, you see that's rather pretty, isn't it? They will all be. They're all blessed with, well, not blessed, I guess. I put one of my lovely duck egg blue stickers on them because I'm proud of what I do, I'm proud of what I make. And yeah, hopefully the recipient of this bouquet will love it and then see my number and then perhaps order some more. So we're going to put my stickers on, pride of praise, on the, not too in your face, you know, discreetly, tastefully positioned on the brown paper. And ta-da! And then I'll stick a flower food on and then we're all done. So thank you so much for watching. It's actually really lovely having your company while I make things up. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, then please do give me a like and yeah, we'll do some more creating in the future. All right, take care now. Bye.